Welcome back, guys, to the Whipless run of Castlevania II for the NES. We are now in the second mansion. Enemies are going to start getting a little tougher from here, mostly because they take a little more hits to kill now, but they're still not too bad yet. In every mansion there's an oak stake salesman or sales lady. I don't know, a lot of guides that I've read say that those people that sell you the oak stakes are men, but they always looked like ladies to me, so I don't really know. I always just called them ladies, so whatever though. But like I was saying, there's one of them in every mansion. In this mansion, you kind of have to go out of your way to get the oak stake from her, so I'd recommend just picking up an oak stake, a second one, from the first mansion so that you don't have to go out of your way to get one here. I'm going to have to go farming for hearts here after we get our next piece of Dracula, and I'm just going to farm hearts here in this mansion. I'll just buy another oak stake from here whenever I do that, so that I can have one ready for the next mansion before I get to max hearts and everything. The body part that we get here in this mansion is Draculas Heart. And to my knowledge, Dracula's Heart doesn't do anything for you other than give you access to the third mansion. You have to take the heart to a fairy lady, a lady that'll take you across a river. And if you don't show her the heart, then she'll take you to a town. But if you do show her the heart, she'll take you to the third mansion. And like I said, to my knowledge, that's the only use of Dracula's Heart. It doesn't do anything for Simon himself that I know of. We're just about to the body part right down here. Go ahead and get the oak stake ready. There we go. And destroy this crystal, and now we process Dracula's Heart, according to the game. Kinda creepy how they have all these people hanging from the ceilings throughout all these mansions. I guess that's the whole idea of this game, of any Castlevania game, I suppose. A little horror type game, I suppose. These little knights with the little pitchforks can be annoying if they wait for you at the top of stairs. I'd say probably one of the most annoying enemies in a Whipless challenge, and probably even in the normal run of this game, would probably be the little blobs that jump here and there. They're just so annoying in my opinion. But we haven't had many problems with them. Later on they'll probably be really, really annoying for us though. I'm going to get back to the entrance of the mansion, then I'll go ahead and fast forward to me after I'm done farming for hearts. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and buy another oak stake here, even though I said it's best to get a second one in the first mansion. Which I did, but I'd recommend not even buying another oak stake here. Just wait until you get to the third mansion before you buy another oak stake, because the oak stake salesman is on the way to Dracula's Part and back from Dracula's Part. So you don't have to go out of your way to get one in the third mansion. So on a normal run, don't even go to the oak stake salesman here. We're just about ready to start grinding for hearts. There we go, time for grinding. Alright, now I'm done heart grinding. I got max hearts again. I also got another oak stake. Like I said before, I'd recommend not even bothering with the oak stake person at this mansion. But I figured, you know what, I'm just heart grinding. All I have left to do is pretty much just walk back and forth and get hearts. So I figured I'd go ahead and get another oak stake to give me something to do. And then I'd go ahead and buy another oak stake to spend that money and then get back to max so that I don't have to spend that much more getting one later. Whatever the case, so we are now headed to the third mansion. In order to get there, we had to backtrack some. We had to go all the way back to where the first town is located. Whenever we get there, it might be a horrible night or whatever. If it is, oh well. I'm probably going to heal up once I get to that town if I'm missing any health or anything. Because right past that town is like a poison marsh or like lava or something like that. You have to cross a pretty big lake of it, and that'll drain out a pretty good amount of your health. So I'd like to have full health before I cross that, so that I can have as much health remaining as I can for the third mansion. Right by the third mansion, there's an area that you can go to the west of it, and you can get another sub-weapon, the diamond. Whenever you use the diamond, it shoots this projectile that bounces off the walls and ceiling and everything. I'm probably not going to waste my time getting it or anything. I never really use it. Speaking of optional sub-weapons, there is one back to the east of where we're at by a couple of screens, the Sacred Flame. That cost 1 heart to use. Speaking of that, the diamond also costs hearts to use. I think it just uses 1 though. Like I was saying though, the Sacred Flame costs 1 heart to use. You throw it, it shoots a flame out, it lands on the ground and makes a pillar of fire. I never really used a Sacred Flame either, to be honest, just not very much. I always just pretty much stuck to the whip and the dagger for the most part. Like I said earlier in this run, the dagger makes a pretty good whip replacement. Good enough to carry you through most of the game, actually. So we're just fine with that. Limited range, but doesn't use hearts, and decent power, for now anyway. Later on it'll start taking forever to kill enemies, I'm sure. But we'll get to that whenever we get to that. We're not too much further from the first town. Like I said, whenever we get there, it might still be a horrible night. If it is, I'll just fast forward to day again, and after I've healed myself at the church. Because I've taken a little bit of damage right now, and like I said, I would like to have full health before heading across the little poison marsh or whatever it is. Alright, we're back at the bridge now. All the enemies are pretty easy from this point. They all die in 1 hit to the dagger. Except for the little wolfmen type enemies that we'll see in the forest coming up. They'll take 2 hits, but still that's not that bad. Still easy. Once we get past the forest, we'll be back to the starting town. And yeah, I don't think that it'll be daytime again just yet whenever we get there, so... Like I said, I'll just fast forward to daytime after I've healed and everything. The third mansion isn't too far to the west of the first town, just a couple of screens to the west, so it won't take us but just a minute to get there. Alright, here we are back in the first town. Let's go to the church, and then I'll fast forward past the nighttime segment. And right up here, just ignore the little zombies and ghouls and everything. And here we go. Okay, it's daytime again. I just finished healing, and we are now headed to the third mansion. Like I said, it's just to the west by a very little bit. We'll have to cross that poison marsh, but we should be okay, I think. And over here we go. Dracula's rib really helps out with these enemies. Blocks their fireballs. Got another one here. Just duck and let this enemy run over you. Dodge this one here. And now we're at the poison swamp area that I was talking about. You just have to hurry across it. Got these little, whatever they are, little creatures living in it. There we go. We lost a pretty good chunk of our health doing that, but hey, we had to. Well, I guess we have laurels, but I don't want to waste them on that. They'll be useful later. Get the heart ready. Let me show you the way. Alright. And just 1 screen to the left from here and we'll be at the third mansion. Got more of these creatures. I always found Dracula's rib to be the most useful of all of his parts. I mean, some of the other Dracula parts do have a couple of uses here and there, but I just found the rib to be the most useful overall. Here in this mansion we'll have our first boss, Death, who is nowhere near as hard as he was in Castlevania 1 or really any of the other Castlevanias. He's very, very easy in this game. Heck, you don't even have to fight him if you don't want. Just keep walking to the right or to the left, depending on where you're going, and you don't even have to fight him. He can't get you. He's really pathetic in this game. But, I'm going to end up killing him so that I can get the golden knife, though, which is a pretty good weapon, and I need it in order to fight off Dracula and everybody. The golden knife, it has really good range. It goes all the way across the screen. Whenever it hits an enemy, it leaves a flame behind that does additional damage. It costs 2 hearts per use, but really that's not that bad. We'll only really be using it on bosses, so yeah. Other than that, we'll just be sticking to the regular dagger for normal enemies and stuff. The part of Dracula that we get here in this mansion is Dracula's eyeball. Whenever you use Dracula's eyeball, it lets you see clues without having to destroy blocks using holy water or anything, which is pretty neat. It's a kind of useful effect, I suppose. At least it would be a useful effect if the clues meant anything. There we go. Here you get to see what garlic is capable of, holding enemies in place and causing them a slow, painful death. Here's one of the more annoying enemy placements in a Whipless run. You got this knight down here at the bottom. Just chuck holy water down at him. It's the best weapon by far since you can hit him at an angle with it. There we go. Just keep holding up and B. Like I said earlier in the run, swinging the whip doesn't count against the run. It only counts against the run if you hit an enemy or kill an enemy with it. And here we have the oak salesman, or saleswoman, whatever it is. It really does look like a woman to me. Whatever the case, though, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. We're not too much further from the part of Dracula. Since I told you not to buy an oak stake in the second mansion, you probably didn't have one. Obviously, you can get an oak stake up there. It's on the way to Dracula's part. And then after you get Dracula's part, you have to come right back through here, so you can buy another one then, which I'd recommend doing so you can have one ready for the fourth mansion. We are just about to death. Just keep walking to the right through this area. There'll be some bats, but they aren't anything to worry about. Turn your back on death, use a laurel, switch over to garlic, wait for him to come low enough, drop garlic, and there you have it. Now all you have to do from here is wait for him to scream and scream and scream all the way up until he's done dying. I suppose in the meantime you could just sit around and taunt him and whatnot, jump around the room. Do whatever you will to keep yourself entertained, because it's going to take a minute or two before he finally dies off. His actual battle plan is to pretty much just float slowly towards you while throwing scythes. And really, he's not that hard. He's quite easy, like I said before. Heck, if you want to, even in a normal run, you can do what I did here. Just use a laurel, lure him low enough, and drop garlic. That'll take a little longer, I think, but whatever. Because I'm sure that you'll have a more powerful whip at this point. You can probably just stick to using that. In the next room over to the right is Dracula's eyeball, so as soon as we've defeated death and gotten the golden knife, we can get our piece of Dracula and get out of here. He should be about dead. At least I hope so. There he goes. You now possess the golden knife. And head over here and get the oak stake ready. There we go. Crack open this crystal, get Dracula's eyeball. Check out the dead people hanging in the background. You now process Dracula's eyeball. Alright, with all that said and done, it's now time to get out of here. Just keep heading to the left in this room. You'll avoid death just fine. Nothing to worry about. There are a couple of annoying enemy placements on the way back out of this mansion, but nothing that we can't handle. Like I said earlier, I'd recommend buying another oak stake on your way back out of here so that you don't have to go out of your way for another one in the fourth mansion. I mean, the oak stake salesperson is right there along the path out of here in this mansion, so you may as well get one. Assuming you have enough money, of course. Hearts. I hate those blobs, they're really annoying. We're a little under half health right now. We should be okay getting out of the mansion and everything, though. We're gonna have to hit up a church ASAP, though, as soon as we get out of here. Luckily, there's a town right by the third mansion once we get out, so we can just go there and recover. Hopefully a horrible night won't happen while we're on the way there, but I don't think it will, because it wasn't that long ago that we just had one. So we should be fine. One thing that's kind of interesting about Castlevania II is that whenever you're inside of like mansions and buildings, time freezes. Like the time that you have in order to beat the game, in order to get the good ending and everything. That's really the only thing that time plays in this game, is whether or not you get the good ending. And like I said, I've actually never tried to get the good ending. I've just never really cared enough, I guess. I won't lie, I have used a Game Genie before whenever I was a kid to freeze time so that I could see the good ending, and it wasn't really all that much better than the bad ending, really. At least in my opinion, it wasn't. Once we've gotten back to town and I've healed up and everything, hopefully, I want to stock back up on garlic and laurels and stuff like that. After I've done that, I'm going to wait for a horrible night to happen, and I'm going to farm back up hearts, get us back up to max. The Draculas Heart sprite in the weapon menu always reminded me of like an edited red crystal sprite. It looks just like the red crystal minus the upper left part of it, and the lower part of it is colored blue and is just a little bit different. So it looks like they took the red crystal sprite and just edited it a little bit, or vice versa, but I think that the red crystal sprite was probably made first. Just a random thought. Pretty much the only thing that we have to spend money on now throughout the rest of our run is garlic and laurels. That and the golden knife, because it uses up hearts. We'll have to use it on bosses and stuff, so that'll take hearts too, but I'd still like to keep our hearts stocked up for whenever we do need to use any of them. But I do think that that's it, just garlic, laurels, and using the golden knife. So, not too many hearts used, but like I said, I would like to keep the hearts up pretty high. And that sucked. We are now down to 1 health. I'm not too worried though, because like I said, we are right by our next town, and so long as a horrible night doesn't happen, then we will be okay. Sure, I'll take you to a good place. Heh heh heh. Okay. I think that the mermen are just here just to kind of scare you or something. I honestly don't think that I've ever been hit by one of the mermen at this little area. It might be possible to be hit by them though, I'm not sure. There we go, just run past these guys. I don't think that a horrible night will happen. Like I said earlier, it's not been that long since we last had one. The church is up here pretty high. Another thing we need to do here in this town is trade our blue crystal for a red crystal. The red crystal is the most powerful crystal in the game. It has all the same powers as the blue crystal, except it also lets you summon a tornado that'll take you to the final area of the game. Here we go, let's get ourselves healed up. Takes a little while for your health to fully replenish, but it's not that bad. Alright, let's go get laurels. I'm pretty sure that they're in this building right down here. Just fall down over here. They're in that door right below us. Then just to the left of that is the red crystal. And to break through the stuff over here. Right there. As usual, they cost 50 for 2. Gonna have to spend about 200 hearts in order to fully get all of our stuff back. Like I said though, as soon as I've bought everything that I need to, I'm just gonna wait for a horrible night to happen and get all my hearts back from zombies and stuff. Here we go. I'd like to exchange a blue crystal for a red one. Sure thing, I'll take the more powerful crystal. Garlic is up at the very top by the church. So I'm going to go up there, get garlic, and wait for a horrible night to happen. I think we only need a couple of pieces of garlic though, so we won't be spending that much money on it. Nothing that we can't get right back anyway. I love how not even the townsfolk are really of any help in this game. I mean, some of them even flat out lie to you. The garlic is in this building right here. You have to break through the floor in order to get to it though. And down we go. Like I said, we only need a couple of pieces of it, but whatever, may as well keep ourselves stocked up pretty good on it. And there we go. Do that one more time and then we'll get out of here. There we go, we're maxed out on laurels and garlic, so good. Now the only thing that we need any hearts for right now is the golden knife. Which, even though we won't be using it right away, I'd still like to have our hearts up and ready for it. I don't quite remember if there's anything over here. I don't think that there is, but let's go check it out. And nothing. The horrible night should be there it goes. What a horrible night to have a curse. There we go. Time to start grinding for hearts and everything. And whatever the case, that is it for part 2.